The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of G.L.M. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to Digital Tech News. Today is Monday, June 22nd, 2026. I'm Kylie Brooks, and this is where technology becomes clear and engaging. Sam Altman says AI could move beyond human intelligence by 2030, while rival AI leaders are claiming even faster timelines. Anthropic was ordered to pull access to Mythos and Fable 5 after a jailbreak warning exposing just how opaque US AI regulation has become. A new open-source Chinese model, G.L.M 5.2, is drawing Silicon Valley attention for long coding tasks and agent-style workflows. Brands are quietly using AI-generated influencers to sell products online, often without making the synthetic nature clear to audiences. As AI moves deeper into classrooms, education leaders are warning that critical thinking may become the most important skill students learn. Let's start with the timeline race around superintelligence, because the spread between these predictions is the story. Sam Altman told Die Welt he would be very surprised if AI does not deliver extraordinarily capable models that can do things humans cannot do by the end of the decade. That is already an aggressive claim, but Anthropic's Dario Amodei has put the moment shortly after 2027 for AI, outperforming humans in almost everything. And Elon Musk has claimed AI could surpass the smartest human as early as next year. Altman has also said AI could handle 30 to 40% of current economic tasks in the not-too-distant future. So the practical question is not just, when does someone declare victory? It is, what milestone would actually prove it? These forecasts matter because companies, governments, and workers are making decisions now around infrastructure, regulation, and job design. But when the most visible voices are also competing to define the future first, a little skepticism is healthy. A timeline without a clear benchmark is part forecast, part strategy. Now, this Anthropic case shows what happens when frontier AI safety meets national security power without much visible process. Within days of the public release of Fable 5, which is based on Mythos, the Trump administration ordered Anthropic to pull access to both models after a jailbreak vulnerability was flagged, reportedly first by Amazon. The company had 90 minutes to comply, some employees were barred from using the models internally, and Anthropic says it was not given specific details about the government's assessment. Anthropic argues the vulnerabilities are minor and comparable to issues in other companies' models, while officials and advisors have treated the risk as serious enough to act quickly. That matters because the United States is trying to be light touch on AI, while also reserving the right to intervene suddenly when national security is invoked. Experts quoted in the debate are using words like ad hoc and opaque, and the background is already tense. Anthropic previously clashed with the Pentagon over guardrail changes for military use, and was later blacklisted as a supply chain risk. The hard policy problem is real. You do not want models helping hackers. But if defenders lose access to advanced tools with little explanation, and companies cannot tell what rule they violated, governance starts to look less like safety, and more like uncertainty as a business condition. Here's why G.L.M 5.2 is getting attention beyond the usual model launch chatter. It comes from the Chinese company z.AI. It is open source, and it claims a 1 million token context window, putting it in the same context length conversation as Claude Opus 4.8 and GPT 5.5. Developers and executives are reacting because the model appears strong on long coding tasks and agentic workflows, meaning tasks where software does not just answer a prompt but plans and acts across steps. Versal CEO Guillermo Rauch said he was genuinely impressed, almost shocked, and former Meta, Google DeepMind, and Microsoft executive Matt Veloso called it the first open model that passes the bar as a daily driver. Social buzz is not the same thing as a full benchmark suite, but developer excitement is still a market signal. The bigger issue is that open models change who captures value. If anyone can download, run, and modify a capable model locally, closed frontier providers have to justify why customers should pay for access to systems backed by massive infrastructure spending. And geopolitically, this lands right in the DeepSeek-shaped debate over whether Chinese labs can narrow the gap, despite US chip export controls. Anthropic has warned that China may be closing the gap through looser chip access and distillation techniques, with a 12 to 24-month window for the US and allies to preserve a frontier lead. The AI influencer story is really about synthetic authenticity, which is a strange phrase but a very real marketing tactic. Brands are using hyper-realistic AI personas that look like ordinary customers, not glossy fictional mascots. The examples include the Once Photo app promoting disposable camera-style wedding videos with a crying bride, Marquette using a woman praising an interior design result for an AI housing tool, and Dubai fashion brand Ashley posting images of a woman with an extra finger before deleting them after questions. Marquette described its campaign as a limited experiment to test creative concepts before scaling real work, while Ashley said the garments it sells are real and handmade. The incentive is obvious. Traditional photo shoots can cost $20,000 to $70,000, and AI avatars are cheaper, controllable, and never have a bad filming day. But that efficiency comes with a trust cost, which found 70% of people cannot reliably spot deepfakes, and the UK's Advertising Standards Authority says there is no explicit ban or mandatory AI labelling rule, as long as the content is not misleading or socially irresponsible. The EU AI Act will require deepfake labelling from August 2026, but the UK is not on that path yet. In practical terms, if an ad is designed to feel like a real person's recommendation, audiences deserve to know whether that person exists. And finally, classrooms may be where the most everyday version of AI trust gets decided. At the World Economic Forum, Basma Al-Buhairan, Reem Taiba, and Amani Alolayani argue that when students use AI to summarize information, generate ideas, explain concepts, and answer questions in real time, they may start treating the output as an authority in the same way they once treated a teacher. That is especially sensitive in non-English contexts, because many large language models are trained mostly on English language and Western dominant data, which can shape examples, priorities, and cultural assumptions. The most concrete signal here comes from Saudi Arabia. In a 2025 survey of 44,920 teachers by the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Saudi Arabia, and the Kingdom's Ministry of Education, 28% said they actively corrected or adapted biased AI outputs. That matters because the teacher's role is not disappearing. It is shifting toward being an interpreter of information quality. The strongest classroom use is not ask the chatbot and move on. It is compare answers across languages, ask what is missing, check factual accuracy, and decide whether the response fits the local context. For students growing up with AI everywhere, learning how to question the machine may be as important as learning how to use it. Today's through line is trust under pressure. AI leaders are selling timelines, governments are improvising rules, open models are shifting competition, synthetic ads are testing consumer confidence, and teachers are being asked to help students question automated answers. The technology keeps moving fast. The human judgment around it has to keep up. Thank you for staying informed with Digi All Tech News. We'll be back with more updates as they develop.